Hi, my name is Orestes, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can get a premium client in the next 30 days. So watch this video if you don't have a client or the ideal client that you want so you can get him. Alright, let's get into it. So first of all, as we all know, the first process is outreach, whether that be DM, through email. I'm mostly going to talk about email, but this generally applies across the board. When you're doing cold outreach, there's some specific things you want to do and some specific things you do not want to do. And I'm willing to bet a lot of the things that you shouldn't do, you are already doing. So pay attention and let's get into it. So what you shouldn't do in outreach. So the most generic advice out there and the most common advice out there suggests that you should do compliments. If you want to attract the business owner, compliment them on something they've done so they can be happy and they can look at the thing and be like, oh, someone noticed what I did and they liked it. They do not care. They could care less, actually. Don't do the compliments, because whatever you do, it's not going to feel genuine. No matter how much you try to make it feel genuine, since it doesn't come from the heart, they're not going to understand it and you're going to waste your time. And also, they're not going to look at the rest of your email because they will understand that this is something that everybody else does, because they receive hundreds of emails a day, So your compliment will make no difference, all right? That is proven. I have worked with hundreds of copywriters that have done the same and they don't see any success with these types of openers. That's why, and the reason that is happening is because I've created this little sketch here. Don't judge it, but as you can see, it's this guy where it's like, this is you, a little dude, and this is them, the bigger dude. And why is there a high difference? Because with this kind of openers, you're setting the frame of I want to suck your dick so that you can pay attention to me and listen to what I have to say. That's not the frame. The frame needs to be a peer-to-peer. So if you're gonna do this, might as well just give up. You should have this image in your mind. All right, this is you. Oh fuck. And this is them. This is you and this is them. You're at the same height, you're in the same level, and you're just talking from a friend to friend perspective. You're not like this little dude that just wants to get the job, that wants to get the first client, because that's not good energy you want to radiate. And with types of openers, that's what you're doing. So don't do it. Next thing is, you should stop selling yourself. A lot of people, what they do is they start with an opener, then they're like, I noticed you don't have this in your business, or I noticed you're not doing this. And then they're not trying to convince them of the specific problem they're talking about, or of a specific system that could solve that issue or add on top of that issue, on top of the business, sorry. What they're doing instead is they're trying to sell themselves on the dude, but they do not care about you. They do not know you. Whatever you tell them is just an email they received from an unknown person that they have never spoken to. So they're not going to believe you about who you are, because everyone can lie. The key there, though, is to sell them on the system that you're using or others have used, so that they can get a certain outcome to the problem that they're facing. And that's how they are open to listen to what you have to say. The only time where you sell yourself is in the sales call, not in the email. You just have to present yourself and who you are, but not sell yourself. Does that make sense? Then the biggest thing is, a lot of people get the first step, which is talk about the system, talk about the problem and what the solution might be, but they do not give a logical explanation as to what the outcome will be. A lot of people, and you will see this across the board, and you've probably done it too. I've done it millions of times when I first got into this game, which was I'll say vague stuff and this will increase your revenue by 100%, 30%, or whatever. But these are vague numbers. They have no substance, and they understand it. And the good business owners, the premium clients you're going after, not the ones that are, don't have the money, or they will pay you at best $500. I'm talking about the good clients. They're gonna understand that this specific thing you're saying is no substance, and they understand that you do not understand what you're talking about. So if you are gonna say vague stuff, don't say it at all. If you're gonna talk about the outcome, make sure it's tangible. And if you do not know the actual outcome that your system will get, for example, if you wanna offer a welcome sequence to a business owner, what you shouldn't do is give specific outcomes that you do not know if they're true. So for example, if you find a business that doesn't have a welcome sequence and you want to offer it to them, don't say this welcome sequence will add you an extra $20,000 to your name, because first of all, the people that are going to believe that are going to be the people that are low level in terms of financial, so they're not going to pay you a lot, and they're in need of the money. And also the good guys, the good clients understand that it's not like evergreen. If your welcome sequence has gotten $20,000 for one business, it's not going to do the same for another business. So if you are going to talk in outcomes, and if you do want to demonstrate the results that this can get them, say that we have seen across the board that this specific welcome sequence does this to businesses, and in your business it will probably look like this, and that. Like, break it down in step by step, and that could also lead to that specific thing. That way they can visually see in their mind what the process looks like, so they can actually decide, am I going to go through with this? Am I going to explore it or not? All right, that's how you should do it. And that brings me to the third point, which is don't lie. If you don't have the results, or if you haven't seen the results play out for the specific thing that you're offering, go after like trending, like not trending results, but like what's happening in the market, So like, if right now most welcome sequences in the good businesses are having a specific type of percentage, or that make up like a specific type of percentage of the total revenue of any business, like, go with that. Don't go with like lying, like, and just saying that like this can add like a 40% increase, 50% increase, when in truth it's not true, So if you do not have the results, just go after, like, use like what's already happening in the market, what people are mostly seeing, and leverage that, right? Don't lie, because eventually they're going to catch up to that, and it's not going to be good for you, and it's not going to look good on you. So now let's move on to what you should be doing. And believe me, this is going to explode your outreach game, and it's also going to set you up to be looked as a peer-to-peer with the person that you're reaching out to. And with every client that I've gotten, it has always looked that this guy knows shit. Like, they always knew that I knew my shit, and I wasn't the type of guy that was looking for a job. It was mostly, I'm willing to offer a solution to the problem that you have, but I'm not in need of that job. All right, and that's the frame that you need to have. And with this outreach, you're gonna start getting it, right? So first of all, you need to have the "What's in it for me" opener, which you've probably heard a million times, but you have never actually seen what that looks like. A lot of people have been trying to do it with a compliment, but a compliment, it's not really working anymore, or I don't even know if it ever worked, because it's very generic and people can see through the bullshit. So this is an example. You can use AI. Everybody uses AI, so why not use it? First of all, this is what AI thinks I look like. Whatever, but it's like first name, whatever, and you put the first name of whatever person you're reaching out to, searching where all his email revenue went. And it's a funny picture with their face in it, and this is the prompt, by the way. You just take a picture of their face, and you just pop this to ChatGPT, and you just say this, and it will get it for you. But don't replicate it, don't just steal it and use the same. You can use whatever you think is funny, and this is a "What's in it for me." And the reason why that works is because, first of all, it's funny, and if they're a little bit like weird, and they don't find it funny, that's fine. We're never gonna work with you anyways, So either they find it funny or they don't, but you don't care if they don't. Like, what you want is the people that will actually find it funny. And then it's like basically saying that, okay, like, he doesn't have any email revenue, or he doesn't know where it went, so you're losing a lot of money. So he understands that this is gonna help me something with, like, bring my email revenue up. It's gonna be something around that. So if they are gonna read your email, they will know what to actually look for. They understand that, okay, this person will probably sell me on something, but at the same time he will offer me a solution to the problem that I have, which is like, I'm not making enough money through email. All right, and then what you need to do is like smoothly transition into the reason you're reaching out, and it's very, very simple. Don't complicate it. You signed up to their list if this is for email, and you saw that they're not doing X, Y, Z, and that is leading them to losing money. A problem attached to an outcome that they could have if they have solved the problem. Then you found the problem, as we already discussed, and then you're offering a logical solution. So let's take the previous example, right? The welcome sequence one. You sign up into a business email list, and you get no emails, all right? So your logical thinking is that this guy doesn't have a welcome sequence and he's missing out on money. So you present him with a problem that, yo, bro, like, or like, girl, like, I didn't see that you don't have a welcome sequence in place, and because of that, you're missing out on this, and that, and it's very, very easy to be placed in your business and in your automations, and it kind of looks like this, and that. All right, and then you sell them on the system, on the welcome sequence. Why a welcome sequence is good, why it needs to look that way, and how it would look for his business, all right? Instead of just selling him, or like that's the mistake everybody does. Like they offer the solution, but they do not explain the solution so it can be conceptualized in the business owner's brain. What they do is like they think that the business owner, the first objection that you will have is that, oh, okay, but who the fuck is this guy? And then you're gonna go into explaining who you are, who you worked with, and that's fine. But at the same time, you need to also explain how the solution will look for his business so he can conceptualize what you're actually saying. That's basically you selling them on the system and not on yourself. You can, after that, say who you are and who you worked with, but if you haven't worked with anyone, or the people that you've worked with are not very knowledgeable and you didn't get good results with them, no need to mention them, it's fine. So after that, you just need to demonstrate proof if you have any, or just say what like usually businesses see when they implement a welcome sequence or whatever it is you're selling. And then the CTA is you offering either to do like a Loom video explaining how this will specifically look for their business, or either like offering a Google Doc where you go step by step into how they can do it, and then you sell them on like the implementation, or you just get them straight to a call so they can book a call with you on a Calendly link and go from there. Either way, when you do this, you set up yourself to have the same frame, to have the same position with a business owner, because you're using something funny, this one, and you're making them straight from the get-go. You're making them aware that they're losing something, and that's the what's in it for me. The compliments only fucks up your frame, nothing else. All right. Here, I'm not complimenting them. I'm using their face to grab their attention so that they can laugh at it. And I'm also using AI images, which everyone uses these days. And that's why it works. And this has worked for me and multiple of the guys that I work with. All right. So use this if you want, and take this structure and send emails every day to the businesses you want to work with. And the most important thing is that none of this works. None of this helps you get clients and the clients you want, unless you go after the clients you actually want to work with. If you see someone that is not of your criteria, but you think is going to be an easy close, don't go after them, because sir, you might get like $500 or $1,000 because they're not going to be the ideal client, but that's going to be like nothing, because the burden that you're going to have with you to deliver, like how a pain in the ass they're going to be and all that stuff, that's not measured. So before you get them, so always go after the clients you have a gut feel are going to be great working with. All right. And then once that happens, the next step is the sales calls. And how do you take the sales calls? So do not show up in a suit. I've heard this specific advice millions of times. And if you come from specific masterminds like Andrew Tate's or like Iman Gadzis, they probably tell you like you have to present yourself a certain way, and that is true. But you don't have to go the extra mile and wear suits or wear watches or stuff. Like who the fuck sits in their desk at home wearing a suit? Nobody does that. Unless you're a lunatic. So no reason to do that. It's a stupid advice. What you should do is have a preparation of what you're going to talk to them, of what you're going to help them with, present an offer, and also be sure that whatever you're saying, you're very well educated on that specific thing. So if you're selling them welcome sequences, have examples of welcome sequences you have done. All right. If you haven't done any welcome sequences, but you're still offering them, well, before the call, go write some welcome sequences. Do your best job, and don't be afraid to take the sales calls. The worst that can happen is they get on the call and they feel like this is not a right fit for them, and they get off. That's it. And you haven't lost anything. If anything, you gained a lot of experience. But very, very important, if you are going to sell something to a business owner, be very well educated, because on the sales call, they're going to ask you questions, and you need to have the confidence to answer them correctly. So the more reps you put in, the better. All right. Hopefully this helps you. I don't know how this style of videos work, if they're helpful with this Miro board, but I'm going to try them out a little bit and see how helpful they are to you guys. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. And if you want to subscribe, I'd appreciate that. Have a good day. Bye-bye.